word of the day is communicate, bitch. Now, I do realize that I have an obtuse diction, just like I have an obtuse ass. And I do realize that I have a master's degree in communications from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And I do realize that I've been blessed with the gift of gab my entire life, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve very transparently, and I would be doing so even if we didn't have social media. I understand this. But I also understand that the socialization of man requires us to relate to each other. And thank God we have the genius of language, which a lot of people speak multiple languages. Raise your hand if you do. I think it's brilliant. Okay. But in communication, we are spiritually entwining not only our energies, but we're meshing our metaphysical astral bodies together, and they're doing a dance of relatability. This is the way that we form attractiveness. This is the way that we digest another person's perspective. And I mean, if you are a MAGA Republican, then you probably don't digest anything except for laxative because you're full of shit. Y'all gotta forgive me, I'm not trying to get too political, but I saw this video of this black boy walking around a fancy upper echelon neighborhood, and he was being stalked by MAGA Republicans, and it really pissed me off. We're not gonna talk about extreme cases of political discourse or judgment when it comes to race, but I promise you, in the communication, because when the black boy was walking down the street, he wasn't communicating his intentions, therefore it got a rise out of everybody who didn't look like him. Yes, it was rooted in ignorance, but son, instead of holding your camera, just say, I'm here visiting my friend. If you're gonna continue to follow me, I am going to call the police on you. Communication is an exchange of not only verbal information, but spiritual information. Contracts are made with spirit based upon the words that we speak. And as oracle people and magical and spiritual people, communication, not only with people, but with spirit, has to be succinct with your intention. And when it is not, or when you have difficulty doing that, that is when you learn to communicate better, or you change the means in which you are communicating. The reason I say that is because it is an imperative life skill that we have got to cultivate, okay? I can talk to somebody who owns $1 billion business as well as talk to somebody from the hood. It's called code switching. We talked about that before. But that is because I've been blessed with the gift of gab, but I honed in on my gift because I got educated on the right way to actually get your point across. I no longer will associate with people who cannot express themselves. And I'm not just talking verbally. You can internalize a lot of emotion, but express it with art, express it with a song, express it with something. But individuals who harbor that level of communication, it makes me very weary right now. Right now. Okay. Now, that don't mean I can't read past it, because a lot of shy people do come to me. But I don't feel like some of you guys are shy. I feel like some of you guys are protected by your ancestors for exposing the authenticity of your spirit, because the fruit is sweet. Okay, your fruit is sweeter than most, so you aren't allowed in spirit to fully express yourself until you get comfortable. Now, if you the type of bitch that ain't never been comfortable expressing yourself, especially to somebody who's had your back, somebody who would go to bat for you, somebody that made sure you ate, then you a fucking snake. If you can't get presented with someone who is no longer the representation of what they feel is appropriate to you, and you never receive the extension of their expression, what you do is you overcompensate your expression and paint a picture on that individual circumstance or job that you want to believe is there. And as an empath, raise your hand if you're an empath. And as an empath, if we're not getting that, our spirit grabs at other things. We start to embody their loneliness. We start to embody their shut-inness. We start to embody their depression, when really and truly, you could have met me halfway. You haven't learned to meet me halfway. You got to meet people halfway. You got to meet circumstances halfway. You got to meet God halfway. When you cast the spell, hex, incantation, you got to meet it halfway. And if you not have learned this as of now, with a phone in your hand designed for you to communicate, then unfortunately you can't sit with the BC any longer. And I'm not saying you have to be talkative, but you have got to learn your way of expressing what you feel. That doesn't talk about indecisiveness, though. Because have you ever went to a restaurant and somebody knows exactly what they want, and then somebody's just flipping through the menu like left and right and still got a question mark on their face? They're waiting for somebody else to bring them along. That's their level of communication. Following communication is their way. That doesn't deal with that. It just simply deals with meet the world halfway, or your existence is really going to be an isolating hell, and the people around you are going to turn. They're going to turn because they don't know who you is. The way that it relates to spirit is that when we use our tongue, a tongue is a wand, okay? You don't need a oak wand, black oak wand, which is my wand downstairs. You don't need a wand. You can cast with your tongue. You know, my mother is I almost called her a harlot, a herald. I'm sorry. She is a herald for the power of the word. And it is because our tongue makes designs as we speak audible sounds. Both are met by the universe, so your intentions must be pure. They must be pure with people. They must be pure with the universe. They must be pure with what you're going after. And that's why some of you guys be winding up in the ditch when you say you was finna get the dream job of your life. Your intentions weren't lining up with what your tongue's saying, and God is confused as to give you the what the hell you want. I be telling y'all to watch what the fuck you say. But I'm saying that to say this. It is an imperative skill that we have to learn to cultivate as magical practitioners, or our spells are going to drop, or the readings are not going to hit, or you are going to snuff out the readings that I give. Because you're not in alignment with what you are desiring. Your tongue is not meeting the universe with receptivity. It's meeting it with resistance. Communication. Imperative, my darling.